Hello, Linda here, little mini grooming herself. We are back with another walk and talk. Yes, you heard it, there is a talk throughout this entire workout. If you prefer to work out to music, then head over to my YouTube channel and choose another stepping workout that does not have walk and talk in the title. Today we're going to be chatting about how hormones can impact the way we feel and even the way we think. And we're going to be doing a 20-minute stepping workout with 40-second intervals and 10 seconds of just walking in between. So start walking with me now. Get your knees up high, pull your tummy in, and really pump those arms. Anytime you don't like the exercise I'm doing, just walk around the room or do something else, maybe some step touches, knee ups, whatever you prefer. And make sure that you are going at your own pace. You do not have to keep up with me. If I'm going too fast, then slow it down a bit. If you want to intensify, add some light hand weights to this one. It's not a super difficult one today. We're going to keep it pretty moderate, maybe around 2,000 steps. And the first exercise we're going to do is a step out with 2 punches, starting in 3, 2, 1. So a little tap to the side, anchor with the heel of your supporting leg, and little punches. Deep breaths, shoulders are down and back. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is something that I've been researching a lot, and that is how hormones and how the fluctuations in our hormones can affect the way we feel and even the way we think. And this is going to be geared mainly towards women, but if you are a man, you have women in your life, so it would be actually very beneficial for you to know how the women in your life are functioning, what's actually going on under the hood, right? And then maybe you can have a little bit more compassion towards them, because often women get labeled as being a little bit irrational at times, a little bit dramatic other side, a little bit all over the place, but there's reasons for the way we are. And I'm not just talking about during the menstrual cycle, which obviously there are stages in your menstrual cycle where your hormones fluctuate. And that is the reason why at some parts of the month we might have more energy, at other parts of the month we might feel really unmotivated and lack energy. There might be times where we feel more emotional, we're more hypersensitive, and other times where we feel more creative and we feel more like we can rule the world, right? So that all happens. Fluctuating hormones are responsible for that. Hormones like progesterone, like estrogen, even testosterone, side to side. I'm not going to go into details about what does what, which hormone does what, and about the specific phases in your menstrual cycle. I wanted to keep this discussion more general about how hormones can affect our mood and even the way we think, the way our brain functions. And I also wanted to talk about not just specifically during the menstrual cycle, because not everyone has a menstrual cycle anymore, but also how during specific life stages like puberty, like pregnancy, and then of course perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, how our hormones can fluctuate then, go front and side, front and side, and cause a lot of changes and symptoms in our bodies and our minds that people don't really even know about, and that can really impact your quality of life. So for example, when a woman gets pregnant, it is pretty much known to everyone, whether you're male or female, that women tend to undergo some pretty big changes, and as a consequence, symptoms in their moods, in things like cravings, in getting hot flushes, for example. Let's go side and out on the other side, side and out. There are so many different symptoms that are associated with pregnancy that are actually induced by the hormonal fluctuations. And everyone around pregnant women gives them so much grace, because they realize it's not their fault in a sense. You know, their body is doing all sorts of strange things while it's trying to create this tiny little human. And everyone around them just goes, oh, you know, she's pregnant, she's got baby brain or whatever it is, and gives a lot of grace and compassion. Whereas during other parts of our life, when we also undergo equally dramatic fluctuations of hormones, such as during the perimenopausal period, let's go side, side, step, and step. Side, touch, step, and step. So you're tapping your heel behind. If you can. If you can't actually touch, that's okay. Just go as close as you can. Tap, up, step, and step. So this one is a little bit more difficult in terms of choreography. So I might not be able to talk to you that much while we're doing this interval. So let's just focus on not stuffing it up. Keep breathing, and I am going pretty fast because the music has got a faster beat. But if you want to, you can slow it right down and not follow the beat. Deep breath in. So some of the intervals are going to be a bit faster. Get the heart rate up there, and then we're going to go a little bit slower. So now we're going to go to the other side. Step, step in, tap, behind, behind. Step, step in, tap, behind, behind. So I'm transferring my weight into the heel of the supporting leg each time. It's good to keep challenging your brain as well with these exercises, because if you always do the same kind of boring exercises, your body will not continue to give you results, because your brain is very smart. It will pick up that you're always doing the same thing, and it'll get lazy, and it will use less and less calories, I promise you, to do the same thing. Step, knee, tap back. Step, knee, tap back. So doing things that are hard for the brain may be frustrating sometimes, but it's actually keeping your brain on its toes and guessing, and that shocking your body into giving you better results is a thing. You actually burn more calories when you switch on your brain while you're exercising than if you were doing something mindlessly, just like walking on a treadmill. Your brain is a massive, massive calorie burner. So don't underestimate difficult choreography. Even if you don't get it right, it's still beneficial for you. So, having said all of that about pregnancy, other side, having the grace and the compassion during a woman's pregnancy, it doesn't translate to when that same woman may go through perimenopause and exhibit many similar symptoms, in fact, to the pregnant woman. People around her don't see physically that there's any changes. And so they expect the same from this woman as they always have. And they don't give the graces when she gets brain fog, when she gets hot flushes, which she might be too embarrassed to talk about anyway, when she doesn't have the same energy levels that she used to have, when things change for her and she feels maybe a bit depressed, big arms, circle arms and step out, when she doesn't feel as motivated to do the things she used to do, to have fun hobbies, to socialize, when she's not as driven at her job perhaps, when she doesn't want to put on the big Christmas dinners anymore, and she gets more easily emotionally overwhelmed. All of these things are part of the transition from having a body that is designed to create life to then not having those periods anymore and going into a new phase of life, and definitely not a worse phase of life by any means, because we're in post-menopause for nearly 2/3 of our life, guys. So let's go in front with a little hop. Post-menopause is not the end of your life. Post-menopause is the beginning of a new phase, of a very beautiful phase. And the interesting thing is that all the things that happen to us during menopause, all of the fluctuations of hormones, they settle down. As long as you're doing the right thing by your body, and I can talk a bit about that, they will settle down and you will become the most stable you ever have when you hit the other side of menopause, because you no longer have all of these processes going on in your body that fluctuate your hormones as much as before. So what I wanted to say was, up, side and front, what I wanted to say was that women, unfortunately, have had to suffer in silence a lot. If you went to your doctor, they basically would have just given you maybe hormone replacement therapy or some sort of medication for depression, but they might not have explained, or most likely would not have explained, that all of these symptoms that you are feeling are actually very common, and that majority of women suffer some of them, if not all of them. And you're not alone, you're not a freak, there's nothing wrong with you, and it's okay to take care of yourself. So it's this way, isn't it? Side and front, other leg. It's okay to take care of yourself and treat yourself a bit more kindly as you are going through these transitions. A lot of us are so inclined to keep pushing when our bodies are saying no, to want to be the same, to want to be as energetic as when we were in our late 20s, early 30s, to want to be able to perform to the absolute maximum of our capabilities all the time. And then when our bodies start to change and our hormones cause us not to be able to behave exactly how we were or even mentally react, let's go step, back, back, knee, back, back, knee, back, back, knee. Now drive with both arms. Then we feel really down on ourselves. We feel like something's wrong with us. But the fact is, there's nothing we have done to cause this. It's actually a natural biological process that happens to every woman. And if we have been taught this right from the beginning, then we wouldn't have tried to keep pushing and pushing and feeling bad about ourselves and maybe ending up depressed because we are not able to keep up the way we used to. So this is the reason why I'm telling you all this, that if you are in that stage of life, let's do knee pulls, if you are in that stage of life where things are starting to change for you hormonally, don't beat yourself up. It doesn't mean that you can't do things to help yourself out, right? And we can talk about that next. But 100%, it is not you doing anything wrong that is causing changes in your hormone levels to impact the way you feel, your moods, and even the way you are able to show up in life. So once you understand that, perhaps you can give yourself a little tiny bit more grace. We're going to row behind and tap for the next interval. Starting to get my heart rate up a little bit, which is a good thing, right? So hinge forward, row and tap. Diagonal back with that toe, hinging with a flat back. So what are some things that we can do to help us out with some of those symptoms? Well, there are various areas to look at, and the interesting thing is that the areas seem to always be the same when people are trying to optimize their health. Areas like sleep, exercise, stress management, environmental toxins or dealing with environmental toxins, and obviously diet. So those areas are something that pretty much are always going to have to be addressed if you want to live a healthy life. And the same thing goes with hormonal health. We're going to punch across, down and up with those legs, punch across, twisting through the waist. So with sleep, you may be in an era of your life where you have a baby, or where you just have a lot of commitments with work, or where you just Have a very full life. Maybe you're in that era of your life where you're not only looking after children, but you're also looking after elderly parents. There's so many eras. Even as a younger person, maybe you're just at uni and you've got so many commitments with assignments, but you're also working. And then you still want to have a social life, and it's hard to get to bed at a regular time. The fact is that you need to have, let's go side to side. Bring that knee up, elbow down. You need to have that really deep sleep in order for your body to be able to repair itself, and there's no getting around it. So if you want to optimize your health, if you want to feel better in general, if you want your energy levels to be better, prioritizing your sleep is one of the most important things. This is the time when your body heals. This is the time when your body eliminates toxins. You need to be able to get into that deep sleep in order to do that. Deep breath. And one thing that does disrupt sleep definitely is caffeine. So 2 steps across, 2 steps across. So that's something you might need to consider, because even if you have coffee at say midday, it can still be in your system when you go to bed. Obviously in a much lesser degree, but if you are someone that is sensitive to caffeine, it might not stop you from falling asleep, but it can impact the quality of your sleep. So that's sleep. I'm not going to go into detail about every area. I'm just going to gloss over it because we are actually already so far into this workout. It's crazy how fast time flies when I'm chatting. So, walking in place. The other aspect is exercise. And guess what? Exercise is one of the absolute best. Let's go across with our arms, figure 8, heel taps across the body. Zone 2 cardio is found to be one of the absolute best forms of exercise for overall health. Moderate intensity. Zone 2 basically means you're still able to hold a conversation, like exactly what I'm doing right now, but you have to catch your breath every now and then. It is still giving you a little bit of a sweat, elevating your heart rate, but nothing crazy. And doing that on a frequent basis is actually better for you than doing high intensity exercise less regularly. So regularly means 3 to 5 times a week. You can even do it every day. There is no harm in that as long as it's moderate. Let's just stay on one side and pull that knee up. But if you're doing really high energy HIIT training, high intensity interval training, or really maxing out your weights, then you probably need more time to recover. And in that case, you might be less inclined to be consistent with your exercise. So think about that when you're choosing your exercise routine. If you notice that you're finding it difficult to maintain exercise throughout the week, 3 to 5 times minimum, then maybe you need to switch something up. And change is always a good thing. That's why you will always see so much variety on my channel, because your body, once again, like I said at the beginning, your body does not want to be doing the same old thing all the time. Other side. It wants change, it wants variety, so that you keep challenging yourself, creating new neurons in your brain, and also giving your body the ability to just feel healthier and detox, get rid of inflammation. You know, I'm preaching to the converted. You guys know the benefits of exercise. I don't need to tell you that, but being regular about it is very important. And then obviously diet, eating as close to nature as possible. Try not to eat stuff with lots of numbers, with lots of words that you can't pronounce. Trying to eat unprocessed foods as much as possible is definitely going to benefit your body and help you to eliminate toxins and give you all the nutrients to build healthy hormone profile. How about we go big wide L arms and then heels to the side. So in terms of what diet to follow, I'm definitely not one to say one size fits all. I think everyone needs to find something that works best for them, but I highly recommend intermittent fasting, and I also highly recommend watching your glucose levels, trying to keep your glucose levels from fluctuating too much, and there's many ways of doing that. So it doesn't mean you have to cut out carbs or anything like that by any means. It just means you need to find ways of keeping those glucose levels a little bit more stable. And I've got a whole nother talk about that. Okay, up with those arms, forward, forward, back, back, down and up. And lastly, environmental toxins. We're exposed to so many toxins all the time from petrochemical products, plastics, in our drinking water, in the foods that we're buying that are packaged in plastic. So many things around us are off-gassing furniture with chemicals in it. We are in a toxic environment, let's face it, and it's very difficult to avoid all of that. But if you can make changes in your life that slowly exchange something that's toxic for something that's less toxic, for example, using glass Tupperware instead of the plastic, for example, not using a drink bottle, let's go across and across. This is the last interval, so we're just going to finish here. So punch across and pick up that knee. So if you're able to do that and slowly start changing toxic things out for something less toxic, buying less packaged food, perhaps getting a water purifier if you don't already have one. We're done, guys, just walk in place. Deep breaths here. Perhaps switching up your laundry detergent for something more natural rather than something that's full of fragrances and chemicals. Same with cleaning products. Anything that touches your skin, like skincare, makeup, all of those things, perhaps changing that up for something that's more organic, or at least checking it out on EWG is a website which is a beauty database where you can put your information of your products in there and it gives you a score of how toxic it is. So all of those little things, making little incremental changes, will have an effect overall, especially in the long run. Okay, so doing those things, even if you're young and you're nowhere near perimenopause or menopause, you are going to set yourself up for a much healthier future. And if you're already during that stage, you can minimize your symptoms by taking care of yourself better. So this is just a really quick overview, and there's definitely a lot more information to be had online. If you want any help finding some people to follow about this, just comment below and I'll send you some links. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for walking and talking with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.